They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
All right, guys, before we get into it, I owe a massive thank you for everyone in Premiere Gang. I mean, our premieres have been crazy lately. I mean, we're getting up to 50 live viewers, and the reason for that is so many people are deciding to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell next to it. That way they get notified. They can come out to the premiere. I can answer their questions during that live chat. So I've had a ton of fun doing so, but also a big reason on why we've been able to have so many people out to the premieres is because while we were watching those premieres, I mean, y'all are destroying the like button. I think we just passed our premiere like record. So I just want to give y'all a massive thank you because y'all are the ones making this channel grow so fast, and I truly, truly appreciate it. But what we're going to be doing in this video is something I think we're probably going to have to be doing very often over the next few weeks, just because we know the NBA landscape, it's going to be changing. It's going to be changing very fast, very soon. And we've already had some pretty big changes that we need to talk about that are going to impact our fantasy basketball rosters. So yeah, let's go through. We're going to be talking about some guys that got cut, some guys coming back from injury, and pretty much everything in between. But our first player that we need to talk about, our reports are coming out with Andre Drummond saying, hey, you know what? He hasn't been traded yet. Maybe this is going to be a buyout candidate. And if he is bought out, there have been reports saying Lakers, there have been reports saying Nets. Whatever the scenario is, I think that Andre Drummond is going to be fantasy relevant. Yes, he's not going to be exactly what he was in Cleveland, just because we understand, hey, in Cleveland, I mean, there were shots to be had, there were boards to be grabbed, minutes to be played. I mean, there were not that many good guys in the rotation where he was seeing a decent amount of like 32, I want to call it, minutes per game going along with that. I mean, he was able to go through, have 14 boards a game. We know that Andre Drummond is always going to be a rebound monster. 18 points, a steal and a half, and over a block a game at the same time. So Andre Drummond, I will say, is 100% going to be someone that you need to keep on your roster. And the Lakers may not necessarily be a fantastic landing spot for him, but on the Nets, he would just be grabbing 14, 15 rebounds a game if he could see the minutes. That would be fantastic. So if you're an owner of Andre Drummond, I think that's what you're kind of rooting for. Obviously, he's going to be going to a contender. I guess you could look at a few other teams around the NBA, but I think the Nets and the Lakers are going to be the two favorites to land him. And I will say that there are going to be two different routes we can take with Andre Drummond. And y'all know that this is something that I always emphasize, because it's easy for someone to come out here and say, hey, buy this player, sell this player. Yeah, that's easy. That really takes no analysis. But what you need to be doing is you need to be understanding your own league format. And with Andre Drummond, if you're playing in a points league, that's where you want Drummond, because he's not going to be killing you anywhere. He's not going to be killing you from the free throw line, because it's not going to matter. What you're going to end up getting is you're going to get those reboundings just stacking up, as well as his points and the defensive statistics at the same time, for him to give you a nice overall point output at the end of the night. But if you're playing in a category league, we know that, if you're plugging Drummond in, he's going to help you with this field goal percentage, just because if he's going to one of those contenders, he's not going to be taking up a ton of shots. But the free throw percentage is going to tank. So points league, hold Drummond for the long run. Category league, sell once he signs. And regardless, let me just give a quick shout out to my man, Jarrett Allen, someone that I have always been a massive fan of. Y'all know this by now. 22 years old, and in 23 games with Cleveland so far. I mean, he's been impressive. Not as great as I was expecting, to be completely honest. I mean, the rebounds are down there at about 9.5 a game. I thought that this was going to be up closer to 11, but he's also giving you 15 points and over a block and a half at the same time. So with Jarrett Allen, not someone that looks like he's going to be a league winner, sadly. I mean, yes, he's definitely a value compared to where you got him in your draft this season. But I'll say that with Love coming back, with Larry Nance Jr., I mean, Jarrett Allen will still be someone contributing on a night-to-night basis for your lineup. but not going to be someone that is just winning your league, sadly. All right, so now let's go over to the Western Conference, and let's bring up Nurkic. And lately, we've had some positive reports coming out that the wrist is doing great. He should be back in a week or two. And generally, y'all know that with these surgeries, just whatever surgery it is, I'm always leaning on the side of saying, hey, you know what? If they're saying a week or two, it's probably going to be 2 to 3. Probably not going to be a week. But in the case of the Blazers, I mean, this is a team that is, of course, in the playoff hunt, but it's been on the straight up back of Dame Lillard. I think the fastest they can get Nurkic back, the fastest that they can maybe ask Dame Lillard to do a little bit less and start winning games a little bit more. That way they can guarantee themselves into that playoff spot. That's going to be great. So in this case, I think that the report of a week or two is probably pretty accurate. And what this means is go get whatever value you can right now for Enes Kanter, who over the past 30 days, he's been averaging 30 minutes a game, 59% from the field, 13 points, and 13.5 rebounds. So yeah, I mean, he's been someone you've been starting. He's been someone that's been contributing. And no, what you cannot do is you cannot go around your league saying, hey man, you want Enes Kanter? What will you give me? Because nobody's going to give you anything. I can promise you that right now. You approach a trade like that, people are going to tell you to take a hike because they know that Nurkic is coming back. But what you need to do is you need to go, okay, where can I upgrade my starting lineup? What spot can I fill in? Then you go, okay, maybe I need an upgrade at point guard. Maybe I take Colin Sexton, and then I throw Enes Kanter on top of that and see the best upgrade that I can have. Because in that case, it's a little bit more sneaky. It's a little bit more, hey, I'm not throwing it in your face. I'm not telling you to run over and look at what Nurkic is doing right now. The trade's about Colin Sexton, so let's focus in on that. So please sell Kanter, but don't just do it straight up because you're not going to get anything. All right, so now our next player is someone that we talked about in the video that came out today, but I need to bring him up again because he's going to be affecting some other things on the roster. This is going to be Blake Griffin signing with the Brooklyn Nets, and what I said in the video that was the waiver wire one was, hey, don't worry about Blake Griffin. If you have him on your roster, go try to sell him. Very similar to what I said with Kanter. You're not going to get anything for Griffin straight up. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go, okay, hey, Blake Griffin has some buzz around him. He has that big name appeal. Maybe I can just throw him in a package and get an upgrade somewhere else. But right now, I mean, Blake Griffin, he looked so bad this year. I mean, it kind of embarrassing, to be honest. 36% from the field, 12 points a game. Yes, we know that he pretty much hasn't dunked the ball in 2 years. He is nowhere close to the athlete that he was 6-7 years ago. And at the same time, only 5 boards a game, 4 assists. And I know that I've heard this narrative a couple times. I've heard that, hey, Griffin's going to be able to come in. They're going to be able to use him in the post. He can dish it out. He's a decent playmaker. He can find open men on the court. That is maybe the worst piece of analysis I've ever heard. Yes, Blake Griffin can do that on a very bad team. The Detroit Pistons can ask Blake Griffin to do that, and maybe it's not the worst idea for him to utilize them in that way. But Griffin going over to the Nets, when you have James Harden, when you have Kyrie Irving, when you have Kevin Durant, you think they would ever ask him to facilitate their offense? No, that's not going to happen at all. We have reports saying that they want him to space the court. I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're expecting from someone who's like a 33% career three-point shooter. And yes, that percentage is probably going to go up when you have the spacing from Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. We understand that that's going to make everybody else's job on the court a whole lot easier. But still, Griffin, someone I don't want, and I'll say, if you had been looking at DeAndre Jordan to start from time to time, the reality of that going on any longer is probably done, because DeAndre Jordan was only seeing 28 minutes before the signing, and he was averaging 70% from the field because he wasn't putting up any shots. He was only averaging 9 points, 9 rebounds, a block and a half. So I think those minutes are going to come down. Obviously, DeAndre Jordan is not going to come close to being inactive or anything, but he's just going to go into a range where you cannot look to start him. All right, so now the biggest change that we have probably in this entire video is going to be Christian Wood coming back very soon for the Houston Rockets. Now, this is something we can get excited about. The Rockets, since Wood has left, have looked like one of the worst teams in basketball. And it's kind of funny because the narrative circulating around Houston once James Harden was traded was, hey, are we going to be able to make the playoffs without James Harden? I mean, this team looks good. This was one of the best defensive teams over that 2-week stretch. And then Christian Wood exits and everything falls apart. I mean, John Wall starts looking like, the injuries have been taking a toll. The offense can't put points up on the board, and the defense is horrible. I think they're on like a 12-13 game losing streak right now. But Christian Wood's going to be coming back to a scenario where he is going to be asked to do a whole lot. And in the 17 games he's played this season so far, we've already seen 22 points a game, over 10 rebounds, and a block and a half. And that field goal percentage has been up, hovering around 60%. But since he exited, we know that DeMarcus Cousins was actually cut from this team. So we go, okay, so Christian Wood was, playing 33 minutes a game? That number is going up. That number is going to be going up to 36. Now, here's where I have a question for y'all. Please let me know, because it's something I don't know the answer to. And like I say all the time, and I am the first person to acknowledge this, I am by no means an expert. I mean, the majority of y'all watching the premiere right now probably know just as much as I do, probably more than I do, and your opinion is worth just as much, if not more. So I always love when you tell me what you think during those premieres. I love when you tell me what you think during the comment section. But of course, not just what you think, why you think it at the same time. And here with Christian Wood, let me know, do y'all think that we are going to see the Houston Rockets decide to lean on him heavily down the stretch and play him back-to-backs, make sure that he is seeing 35 minutes a game? Because I'm seeing it as they just gave him this big contract. He's already dealt with injuries so far this year. So maybe they just go, you know what? We're not coming close to the playoffs. We're not coming close to the play-in tournament in 2021. Maybe we just kind of coast to the end of the season. Maybe we just make sure that Christian Wood can stay healthy, because this roster is probably going to look completely different in 2022 than it does in 2021. So let me know, do y'all think Christian Wood's going to be seeing the minutes, seeing the games played? If he is, I think that he is going to be one of the best assets in fantasy basketball, especially for those points formats, just because they're going to be asking him to do so much. But I can't say with certainty that he is going to see those minutes and play all those back-to-backs, especially when we get to the fantasy basketball playoffs. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if you were in the premiere, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out. Thank you so much for dropping that like. And if you have any comments, if you have anything that you think I said wrong or I was wrong about in this video, or you would like to elaborate on anything I said, please go down to the comment section. Let me know, because like I always say, I'm stupid. A lot of the times y'all are smarter than me. So I want to hear your opinion. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.